This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Oh, Shaun.
Can you believe it?
It's really great.
And we're here to show you why.
Is that right?
Yes.
Where what is it?
The Big Birds.
That goes all right?
Kings of the big games.
I don't even know the words to this.
So yesterday, the West Coast Eagles were celebrating their first ever game, which was against Richmond in 1987. Their captain at the time was Ross Glendinning. They had all the past players from that era there to go in the change rooms before the game, Nate, to get around the current group and go, yes, this is it. We're celebrating our first ever game in the VFL/AFL.
Wow.
Here's the energy you need to play well.
So did those past players of that first game under Ross Glendinning,
Yes.
did they go in there also with their hands out saying, can I have some of your current pay?
They should have.
Because there is a wide pay gap between the people that played then to the people that are playing now.
I'm sure a lot of them could have done with some of that money too. There's no doubt about that. But the West Coast Eagles finally on the board. So their last win was round 20 at home against North Melbourne in 2023. They've won only 5 games out of 56, I believe it is.
Well, this is good then.
This is very good.
Oh, this is needed.
This is much needed. And I was actually thinking, the way the game started, Richmond came out smoking. They kicked the first 4 goals. And then after that, it was pretty much a whitewash. Elliot Yeo for the West Coast Eagles was outstanding. But who do you reckon the questions were asked about at the press conference following the game, Nath?
Well, there's only one person on the West Coast Eagles, and that is Harley Reid.
Correct.
But can I say something first,
Yes,
though?
go for it.
I watched some of the game. I know.
What?
I don't know why.
You lose your remote.
I don't know why. Anyway, it was on. Anyway, so I just watched some of it, and I don't know whether it's because until when I got given a Mazda from Melville Mazda, I never really noticed Mazdas on the road, and now I see every second car to me is a Mazda.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So I don't know whether it's just because I know Harley Reid so much that while watching the game, Harley Reid stuck out to me so much, but he does a lot in a game, does he? Or is it just I'm not noticing anyone else because all I know really is Harley Reid and Gov?
God, that's a really good point. I think it's a combination of two. By the way, he got going in the second half, but in the first half...
I'll watch the second half.
Okay.
Yes.
In the first half, he had 8 possessions to kick the goal, so that's a quiet day. There was a couple of moments which were really good, but 8 possessions to half-time. All the heavy lifting was done by Elliot Yeo and, in particular, Jake Waterman, and Tim Kelly was probably the other one. They were doing all the work, and they were able to get the West Coast Eagles to springboard and dominate that game for the most part. After half-time, Richmond was stuffed.
Yep.
And then everyone started getting involved, and Harley's confidence grew, and you know, take my hat off to him because he did some amazing stuff, and you know that he's going to be a superstar of the future. So it's a bit of column A and a bit of column B.
Talking about superstars, am I right to believe that our Jeremy McGovern was playing and his teeth got broken and then he spat them into his hands, handed them to someone, and then kept on playing?
Well, that's what they showed, and we were trying to work that out. We'll get to speak to him.
If he spat his teeth out, handed it to someone, and then kept on playing, he deserves every cent of that $1 million pay packet that people say that he's getting paid.
Apparently it's real, by the way. He's the highest paid player at the West Coast Eagles.
He said he's not. He's paying for $17.50 a week. But...
I know.
Shaun, imagine right now this microphone smacks me in the mouth and 2 of my teeth break. Tell you what, I'm not handing them to Amy and keeping on doing the show. I'm going home for 3 weeks. Are you kidding me?
Well, it takes us back to that time that Michael Barlow broke his leg. Snapped, in fact, and he went to stand up in the Freo games. The same, sorry. You just caught in the moment and just like, we've got to keep going because that's what you're taught to do. Go on, you Gov. What a champion. I hope his teeth come. We don't want to look at him if he's all banged up when he comes in here this week.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, he gets $1 million. They'll be gold with diamonds in them. Finally, Gov's getting his grill.
I'm looking forward to catching up with Pav a bit later on too, because one of the things I want to discuss with him is the amount of time it's taking for the to review every goal that keeps going through. Now, umpires seem not to be in a position to be able to make a call, and it seems like there's a directive from the AFL to go upstairs and check with the so-called third umpire, if you like, or get a review on every goal that's crossed the line at this point in time.
How long is the game going to go then?
Well, it's just getting dragged out, and it seems like the umpires aren't willing to make a call, which is it's a little bit embarrassing at times. They got to put their guts, they got to put themselves out there and just call a goal. Just play on. You don't have to check everything. If it's a foot over the line, you're better than that. Call the game. Let's keep going.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Oh, yes. Yes, we are joined by former Fremantle superstar Matthew Pavlich. And
wait, sorry, Harry. What was all that? Harry, what happened there?
Shaun gave me actually a world record amount of notice for a grab, 3 seconds. So I decided to play all of them at once.
It worked. It worked wonderfully.
Pav, the reason why we're playing under these tones, the West Coast Eagles song, you were calling the game yesterday for Fox Sports. They got up and about, and Eagle Rock was playing, the West Coast song was playing.
Eagle Rock.
47,000, they were right into it.
First time in a very, very long time they've tasted victory. So it was round 22 or 23 last year they beat the Bulldogs away at Marvel Stadium, but it's been even longer since they tasted victory here at Optus Stadium. So, yeah, the fans were out in full force and they enjoyed a great victory. They were fantastic yesterday, the Eagles. To begin the game, though, it looked ominous because I think it was 7 clearances to 1. I remember sort of looking down at the stats sheet and it was 4 goals to 0. Richmond started on fire and they were dominating the centre area and the midfield area and stoppages. And then West Coast just clicked. They finally got a little bit of momentum the back end of that first quarter and they went berserk in the second and third quarter, which has been their Achilles heel over the first month or so of the season. But they were fantastic. Harley Reid was great again. He got going. Elliot Yeo was the real one in the midfield who was dominant. 27 disposals, 14 clearances, a couple of goals. He's back to his best. And Jake Waterman up forward, kicked 6 goals, was the beneficiary of actually all the midfield work. So congratulations to West Coast. And it changes the narrative a little bit heading into the Derby 58 this weekend, because Fremantle so close over the last couple of weeks over there in Adelaide, but walk away with no points from 2 games against 2 top 4 teams in Carlton and Port Adelaide. And so now it's like, oh, maybe West Coast, not only a sneaky chance, but maybe they can take this game away from Fremantle. So congratulations to West Coast. They were fantastic. You can see the changes in their game plan. Richmond, we know, got all those injury worries and issues, but you got to play what's in front of you, and they did that yesterday.
I just have to say I feel really happy for the Eagles, just because it's just nice to feel it. You know what I mean? It'd just be nice to... Because when's the last time they won a game?
Yeah, around 23 last year, so I'd call it 6-7 months ago, 8 months ago.
It's just good to taste the win, especially for someone like Harley, because he would be going, what am I doing now?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? How long am I going to be in this thing or not to feel success? Well, so just the taste of it to see what that's like is great.
To get some, so you can show review clips, so you might lose the game. So they played Sydney last week against up in Mount Barker, and they would have showed a lot of positive clips of this is the way we want to play, this is the style of footy, this is how we want to go about our business. So those positive affirmations or positive reinforcements were shown, and yet you don't get the victory, so you don't get to sort of taste it and feel it like a real thing. So you're right, to finally get the reward for effort would be really satisfying.
One of the things that we saw yesterday and throughout the last couple of weeks, Caitlin, you would have been covering this as well. You have an opinion, I'm sure, of the review system and how every single time there is a shot at goal, there is a review taking place, and it doesn't seem like any of the umpires are willing, the goal umpires that are, to just call a goal or a point.
Yeah, it's interesting from a player's perspective. It really slows down the momentum of a game, and in a game where speed and getting the ball back and not having a chance to talk to your teammate and talk tactics, like that's a huge benefit for a team to sit down and go, oh, they're just going to review this. Let's just have a little chat about what we need to do better next time. Like it changes the shape of the game. So, what do you think?
What are they scared about? Like, are they scared about getting the call wrong? Yes. Are they scared about getting the ire of the crowd of the AFL? What is it?
Two things at play. Firstly, there's clearly been a directive from the umpire's coach for the goal umpires and the field umpires to get it right. So even if there's a skerrick of doubt in your mind, let's review it. So that's clearly been a directive from the AFL and from their coaches. So that's the first thing. So yesterday there was quarters that went for almost 40 minutes. Yes, there was a lot of goals kicked, but...
A quarter's supposed to go for 20 minutes, isn't it?
25 plus time on. So, 30 to 31. The second quarter yesterday went for almost...
They made football longer? No.
Well, but no one wants it. Players don't want it longer. The fans don't want it longer. Like, if you're there with your kids or if you're at home, you want a tight, really nice broadcast.
Yeah.
And yet these quarters are getting up beyond 35 minutes. The other thing that's the main issue is that if the umpire says it's a goal, why don't we just go straight back to the middle? You've got at least 30 seconds, probably closer to a minute,
to do it then.
While you do the advert, while you do the brilliant analysis from the people that are commentating the game.
The thighs of the eyes.
You've got almost a minute to review that, and if there is an issue, then take it back.
Yeah.
Rather than sit there and let's score review and look at it a million times. Let's just go straight back. There's probably some commercial arrangements with crypto.com, so they get all the branding, that's probably the major reason, which is absolute BS in my opinion. So take it back to the middle, go to the ad. If there's an issue, then take it back to the point line. So we're wasting a lot of time. The game is long enough as it is. In fact, it's getting longer. We want to actually bring that back.
Pav, some are pretty obvious, and that's
100%.
I'm talking around the nation. Like, they're over the line by a foot. You know, like, come on. You see them clearly.
But this is the point. So call it a goal, back yourself in, and then let the technology do the work in the background. So it's a big issue in the game. It really is.
Do you know many people doing crypto, by the way? Anyone?
Yeah.
No, I sat next to someone on the plane the other week, and he said, "Oh, g'day, he was a South Australian, believe it or not. This is on the way back from Gather Round." And he said, "I didn't want to disturb you, but I was a big fan of yours." I said, "Oh, nice to meet you." Had a bit of a chat. I was like, "Where are you from?" He said he grew up in country South Australia. I said, "Oh, what are you doing now?" He's like, "Oh, my wife came across and started working in the mines, and now I just trade crypto." I was like,
What are you talking to these
is
people?
that a thing? Like, it's obviously clearly a
And
thing.
it's obviously doing okay.
Well,
Was he? Well, you don't fly economy, do you?
I wasn't on this occasion, no.
So he's doing well enough from his crypto to be able to fly at the Pav end of the plane.
Yeah,
Harry was nodding before. Harry's like, "Yeah, I trade crypto as well." He knows exactly.
Harry, what?
I threw some in there about 8 years ago. Did it
Now it's
right,
worth a
and
billion.
then it went real down.
Well, we
Real
used to
far
work
down,
with this guy here, right? Many years ago, and it was very puzzling because he had a job that doesn't pay particularly well at Nova. You know, it wasn't
Casanova,
bad.
so Supernova?
Basically anyone else apart from us.
I'm glad you said, because I was going to say it.
I know. So anyway, but he'd always be going on trips, and he'd come in with new computers and all this sort of stuff. And one day I just said to him, "Are you a drug dealer or something? I cannot fathom how you are affording all of this. I'm doing the math in my head now. I can't work it out." And then he said to us that he many years ago, when crypto first became a thing, and it was Bitcoin, he decided that he wanted to get some money, so he borrowed $5,000 worth of his mum, and then he bought $5,000 worth. And back then, that was a lot of money. Anyway, he ended up selling it. I think it was probably around $900,000.
Wow.
Anyway, the best part about this whole story is I said to him, did you buy a property and all that sort of stuff? He said, no, he didn't buy anything. He just pissed it all away. and that's my favourite thing about it. It's just that at least you've had some fun, but you have nothing in the end, and that makes me happy.
All right, I'm going to change tack here for a second, actually bring Caitlin in this, because I saw Caitlin doing the coverage of the West Coast Fever taking on the Giants in the first game of the season. It was a real up and down affair, goal to goal for quite some time, and then Fever just kicked on.
Yeah, look, Janelle Fowler-Nemard, she's got a new name this year. Like, way to rub it in her face that she's married again.
I hate these married people pushing their relationships in our faces.
I know. Anyway, she's come out and had an absolute cracker. She's been joined in the circle this year by her Jamaican teammate, Shanice Beckford. So she made her debut the other night.
How fast is she?
Oh, she is a real firecracker. And seeing those two out on court together, I think is going to be a real game changer for the Fever this year, in the fact that they've just now got so many options in their attack end. Like, they have so much speed, it's wild.
Is that the issue that they've had the last few years? They defensively have been probably pretty sound, but offensively, in terms of scoring, Janelle's the one that they haven't had any other options?
Yeah, well, what Dan Ryan, their coach, was saying is they wanted 10 players this year in their team. In the past, that has been a criticism. They've probably had a starting 7, but they fully have invested in bringing in new players. They've got 6 new players in their team, so it is a very different face of the Fever this year. But Shanice Beckford, she was incredible. Kelsey Brown got out there for her debut in the Fever. We saw Fran Williams, an English international. She played her first Suncorp Super Netball game. So they have plenty of flair about them. But I think what the scariest thing was for me, and I'm 6'4", so Janelle Fowler is 6'6".
Oh,
she was coming out of the circle. She was shooting the super shots, which is the long range goals. She's actually taking her game to a new level, which is absolutely terrifying for any defender in the league this year.
Isn't it amazing, though? A young girl named Fran. That's one of the players.
I'm not so sure about it.
You don't know, you just come across a lot of young Frans lately. I'm a fan of it.
And Pav, if you're watching, Scotty Scheffler took out the US Open.
Yeah, we've had
US Masters,
of course. Wash your mouth out. Yes, he took it out. Look, really after the first round, he was the one that was always shooting consistently, 2 under, 3 under, 4 under. Even on that second round where everyone, I think there was only 3 players that shot under the card, he was pretty sound. Cam Smith, the Aussie, finished in the top 10. He had a pretty good last round.
Joe Dirtnath.
Joe
Dirt.
Dirt.
Yeah.
Joe
Joe
Dirt,
Dirt.
mate.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I hope he never changes.
Cam Davis, the other one, the other
He was the best of the
Aussie,
Aussies.
came. Adam Scott. Min Woo actually had a solid last round, so I think he and Adam Scott finished in the top 20 or top 25. So a good showing from the Aussies.
Here's a question for you, just to finish things off. So I was talking to someone yesterday. When I finished playing AFL, they said, "What are you going to do now?" And I said, "I'm going to go surfing and play golf." And I don't do a lot of them. I mean, I probably surf more and play golf, but that's what my retirement thing. Oh yeah, that's all I'm going to do.
That was your plan.
Hey, Shaun.
Exactly.
How did this place trap you?
Oh, so Caitlin, what was your thing?
cash.
I needed to get a job. That was my plan. Obviously, when I finished playing netball, it was like, get a job. So that's what I did.
Have you got a job? What job was it?
I worked at Cricket New South Wales. That's what I was doing straight afterwards.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved it. So yeah.
We caught up, I remember, a couple of years ago now, because you were like, I'm keen to sort of do some media, I'm keen to do some business, and it's great to see you flourishing.
Thanks. Yeah, it's not been easy, but back being in Perth, hopefully some more.
She was looking
opportunities
at
open up.
starting the Australian franchise of Pound Town.
Which we're right behind and happy to
It's called
advance.
Pound World, not Pound Town.
No, we're going to be
Pound Town sounds better. Just go with
Pound Town, and I'm sorry, we're going to open that.
No, I want the first T-shirt.
What happens at Pound Town?
Stays at Pound Town.
It's all very cheap, I can tell you that.
Good to have you in here, Pav.
All right,
It's a pleasure. Yeah. 9 News tonight, more coverage of what happened on the weekend, and of course ahead of Derby 58.
That's where you can catch the thighs with the eyes.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.